Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today is Wednesday. I think I mentioned last week that I'm going to be swapping Monday's videos to Wednesday for now, just because I want to have like a bigger gap between my two videos and not just cramming them to one side of the week. So I do apologize if, you know, sketchbook video isn't no longer on Monday. Today, we are going to be working with acrylic markers once again. Now, the thing is, last week we did end up not doing acrylic markers. I know I said I was going to take a break from them. Luckily, I did something else last week. Otherwise, we'd be doing continuous acrylic markers. But if you guys haven't seen, we did this one for the halfway spread. What else is in here? Without showing too much. We also did this spread. We did Selwyn, and then the one that started it all was with Kaisen. So we are going to be doing another acrylic marker spread because I kind of want vibrancy alongside the fact that we're going to be using a lot of black today, or some darker colors, I guess. Not specifically black, maybe not, we'll see. Basically keep this nice and flat for while we're working. Now, I know it's going to be a little bit harder to see. This one might be easier since I drew it a little bit darker, but I decided to use light blue. So this is the lead that I ended up using. I don't use this one as much, so I thought it'd be nice to, you know, use it today instead of the typical kind of just normal blue that I like to use the most. But I feel like this one shows up more for my sketches. But yeah, that's what I ended up doing for our sketch of Alban. So this is Alban Knox, who is one of my Oshis. And I wanted to draw his new outfit. I've always drawn his new outfits like more like sketches occasionally here and there, but I haven't done like a spread or something like that in my sketchbook in a while with him. So I thought it'd be fun to do one with acrylic markers. Eventually I want to do like a digital piece for him because I love this kind of like Chunibyo-esque outfit that he has. And it has like a lot of like orange and black for the main colors, I guess. Even though I feel like Alban's original outfit had a lot more like darker colors and it got a little bit more like softer throughout the years, but we kind of went back full circle and he's kind of more back into this darker aesthetic. So I wanted to do acrylic markers mostly for that reason, so that we can have very bright pops of color and then hopefully nice dark black or dark grays for contrast. So if you guys are interested, I will be listing all the acrylic marker or pens or whatever I'll use in the video in the description, because I'm going to be using like an assortment and seeing what works the best for this entire spread, because I do miss and match quite a bit. What I want to do for the background, maybe I'll do like orange for the entire thing, leave the boxes white, and then do either maybe like a dark blue and or black. The reason I want to kind of add blue probably into this piece, besides that it looks really great with orange, is the fact that the Takara Dachi, which is kind of like the fans or the mascot for Alban's fan base, has kind of like a blue cap. So I don't want it to look too out of place. I might make the loading bar also blue. So let me grab some markers, figure out what we're going to be using for kind of like the base, because typically I start with the background. We'll work towards like the figures in the front. As usual, a lot of my swatches are in my kind of the spare sketchbook. And I'm thinking SIMPTAP markers, 48 colors. So this is this one. Because I need to prep some of these markers too. We can use this for our shadows. A nice bright orange. So is it this one? No, yes. I think SIMPTAP and the Ohuhu Waikiki markers are my favorite for coverage, as well as just like the brush tip is my favorite for getting smaller details and keeping things a little bit more, not orderly per se, but keeps everything nice and clean to a certain extent. But I don't have my swatches in the box, so a lot of like my spare pieces of paper over here. Whoops. So we have our kind of like our scratch pad to test out colors if we need to, or if we're pumping our colors. We can do it over the sheet. And then I have our swatch colors here, our swatch sheet. I might have to do the swatch sheet in here as well. I might accidentally lose this one day, because I know I have one on darker cardstock, which is not in this box, which might be a problem. But this one looks really cute with certain blues. Actually, let me look up, do I have a reference of a Takara Dachi? It's kind of like a mid-tone blue. Like we could go this color. I feel like these would look okay. And then maybe use like a darker blue maybe for, actually I kind of like these together. I don't know. We'll see. I used a lot of blue, I feel like, when I was making the halfway spread. Oh yeah, also, forgot to preface this video. I might put a warning at the very beginning because I know this is not going to be like everyone's preference. It's another longer sketchbook video because one, I've been enjoying making these ones and I know a lot of you guys have been enjoying the longer sessions so you can work alongside me. And I'm very thankful for that. So we are going to be continuing that. These would be closer. I feel like Alban has brown hair, but it's not like super vibrant. It is definitely much more muted. Will be our base. Some of our like shadow colors or highlight colors, I might have to pull out the acrylic gel pens instead. What do we have for highlights for his hair color? Because we can go very bright or stick with the orange for his highlights. I'll also use yellow for his highlights too. Maybe we'll stick with this one then. And then we'll do detailing with gel pens, I think. Oh, actually, maybe I didn't mention this right at the beginning. I didn't really plan the colors out, other than I know what Alban's color palette is. We'll just see how this goes. I think my plan is to do maybe a border. So I might have to find my ruler, unless I want to paint the whole page, which might be... Alban is one of my top Oshis, I feel like. I have stopped watching like livers as like religiously whenever I need like background noise, but he's like one of the livers that I tend to tune into more, especially like after a lot of my Oshis graduated. I'm glad he's still here, you know? Not like cutting him off, I guess, on the very bottom. Now the problem is with like having somewhat limited colors, because my colors are basically black and white, and orange are like my mains, and then accent color I feel like is this blue color, and obviously some other colors we're gonna have is like his skin tone, his eye color, all that. But my problem is that with the background being orange, most of my things that I feel like are going to be touching the background are going to have to be either black or white, and I'm trying to think of what I want to use for this weird what do I want to call this, explosive text box, I guess. Because I feel like I want to make either the text black or orange, but then when I leave my text box white compared to all these little different windows, which, like I said, I forgot to talk about the layout. So typically, when I've done like sketch pages for my OCs, just like generically, I'm gonna see if I have an example in here because I haven't done it as much traditionally, I feel like, versus digitally. I guess this might be a better way. I kind of draw like starting at one place and then moving in a direction and then filling in kind of like the in-between to fill up a whole spread. Do I have another one in here that kind of fits that? I guess this one has it as well. So here's like Maseki. I hate this one so much, but you start one and then you kind of move across. Oh, this was the last time I used alcohol markers. I was debating if I was gonna use alcohol markers for today's spread, but I have a sketch of Cetus, who's like the new OC, which you guys will probably see on Wednesday because I was trying to finalize them. I don't want to accidentally do alcohol markers on that page, so I thought we'll do paint markers on this side and then maybe alcohol markers on the following pages, and then do paint markers to cover up any of the bleed through later. Back to the layout. The layout, I wanted to have it more like windows, like pop-up windows-esque, or kind of like manga panels. Just anything to help kind of like break up the section so I'm not relying too much on trying to fill up the space in a very particular way of overloading it. Kind of like here, where you start off with one, try to fill up the space, and then similarly to the one of Selwyn, it's kind of the same thing. I wanted to separate them a little bit more with something a little bit more like geometrical. And I've seen like a bunch on Pinterest where people would do like collaging of like different, either like anime screenshots or little cutouts, and you add borders and stuff. I love when people do like those cute journal spreads, either for like a favorite character, or maybe it's for like a Bujo spread where it's like your month and you have like a theme. I feel like people do such a good design or layout for those. So I wanted something to feel slightly cluttered, fitting more of like the Chuny aesthetic, and going towards either like gaming or that type of aesthetic, I guess. I don't know how to explain it per se, other than maybe like pop-up window. Orange is like one of those colors, at least for me, that I like in conjunction with like other colors. But it's not like my all-time favorite by any means. Straight and clean for the most part. Hopefully I don't get too confused on what I'm trying to do here. Also music-wise, I've been kind of like flip-flopping in terms of like what I've been listening to. Listening to 17 ballads because Carrotland happened and I'm like in my feels. Listening to obviously Extraordinary Heroes because I've been obsessed with their music. And then, have I talked about this? I probably have in a different video and you guys have heard me kind of like sprinkle it in every so often. But one of my most favorite anime series, I feel like I would consider it like my most favorite. I don't think I've ever read the manga, which is why I'm saying it's my favorite anime series. Because I feel like my favorite manga is Which Had a Atelier. But my favorite anime is Natsume Yujincho or Natsume Book of Friends. And for some reason, I think end of 2024, I was supposed to finish watching the latest season, which I don't remember which season number we're on. But I never did. I took like a break. It might have been because like I was supposed to watch it with my brother and then we both got really busy and we kept putting things off. So I never finished it. I only watched like 5 episodes and then took like the longest break. More recently, I was having a hard time concentrating on what I was working on because my eyes felt like they were like low-key bugging out a little bit. And I had given myself a tension headache as well. And because of that, I feel like it was mostly because I was like looking at my screen for too long at a close distance while I'm drawing. I feel like that mostly happens when I'm working on like my XP Pen tablet rather than like my iPad. So I ended up finishing and catching up on watching the rest of like Natsume. And man, I missed that series so much. It had like the biggest, not a hiatus, but so I don't know if we'll ever get the next season anytime soon. But I love Natsume so much. Just like the general atmosphere of that anime, but also like I cried. I think it was on episode 11, I cried. Because they touch on a lot of like subjects, like lots of different ones, but a lot of them are relating to more like to, I feel like loneliness, there's friendship, there's, family, there's bullying and perception and all these stuff, but also like very interesting because like we're dealing with yokais. But it's like a very touching anime. I love it so much. Because Natsume is like one of my favorite characters alongside with like Nyanko sensei. I love their dynamic, but also like the way that Natsume handles things or like reacts to things, I just love. So I highly recommend it if you've never watched it before. But the reason why I went on like that tangent anyways is the fact that the other song or things that I've been listening to for the anime, and I think, actually what is the English? I think it's Boku ni dekiru koto is the Japanese name for it. I don't know if I've ever seen the translation of the actual name. So apologies, but I'm pretty sure if you look up How Mary Mary, so it's How, H-O-W, and then Mary as in M-E-R-R-Y, and then Mary as in M-A-R-R-Y is the band or the group that sings. Oh, but after I finished watching that season, I've also never seen the movie, but my brother helped me download the movie at some point. So luckily I was able to watch it as well. Whoops, I should have colored that in first. Oh well. But I highly recommend, if you guys are looking for somewhat of like a cozy, almost like, I guess I would consider it like more like a feel-good anime. Because I love it. I don't know if it makes me feel more like cathartic after, but I really do love that series so much. Sometimes deciphering my own sketch is confusing. I guess this would be the shadow. But another thing, have I talked about seiyus? I feel like I mostly talk about seiyus or like Japanese voice actors and stuff on live streams rather than for videos. But I always forget. So like besides that, I always like the person who voices like Natsume's voice. I always like the person who also voices Natori and Matoba, I think. Because Matoba is like voiced by Junichi Suabe, and I feel like I've already talked about how much I love Artem Art and Wing from Tears of Famous. And also like Isahisu from Witch Hat Atelier is also voiced by him. There's like a whole bunch of people. I guess like most people probably know him from even Sukuna from Jujutsu Kaisen, probably. He just has such a nice voice. So I can't help but like low-key swoon a bit. I'm trying to think, how do I want to do the window colors for their drop shadows? Because I have these ones all like facing inwards. I could lower this one and then have the Takaradachi face outwards. Upwards and outwards. I don't want really the shadows to touch too much is my concern. And even though I did say like most of the colors here are probably going to be black and orange, hopefully this blue doesn't look too out of place. I have to be a little bit more careful. I don't know, did I talk about this earlier? I was debating on what medium I wanted to use for this particular spread, and one of them I was thinking was alcohol markers, because it's been a while since I've used them. But it was mostly reminded about like wanting to use them is because I mostly watch artists who do traditional art videos. I just find the process more satisfying and, you know, interesting to me, at least, rather than like digital. That's like just a personal preference. But I remember, what was it? Love to Draw Manga had a alcohol marker video recently. So I was like, oh, maybe I should revisit alcohol markers, because I always forget how much I love the vibrancy and being able to blend, because it's kind of like not the opposite of using acrylic markers, because acrylic markers still have like the vibrancy that I really like, but I don't blend a lot when it comes to this. I definitely do more of like cell shading and keeping things bold, because that's my preference, and my ability to blend with these markers are kind of atrocious, in my opinion anyways. I know a lot of you guys are like, don't be so hard on yourself. It's okay. I guess this is all orange. Sometimes when I'm looking at my sketch, I don't know if I'm curving it for this hoodie or if I'm actually letting it hang a little lower. You can also like color this in afterwards to fix it, because I don't remember. I think it's also like one of those times I should have probably took a picture of my sketch as well, just so we can have it stand out from our border here as well. Because I might make the text orange and then the background black. Maybe might be the way to go. And then for this, they're kind of following the line as well. I don't think I completed my thought, did I? So alcohol markers, haven't used in a while. I saw that Love to Draw Manga was using alcohol markers, and I do miss using alcohol markers, because like I said, it's not that the vibrancy or anything is like what I'm missing from using paint markers. It's mostly like the blending capabilities. And I think the last like spread I used them on was the one of Salwin in here at some point with the outfits. I think it's this one. I used with alcohol markers, which I also like because they lay flat, so they look great with like fine liners. I just haven't used it for like a full colored spread in a while, and I'm thinking that maybe I'll do one for Charlotte from Genshin Impact, because she has a new outfit that I really like. One of the spreads that I really liked from using the alcohol markers was the one of Charlotte that I did. I think it might have been 2 years ago at this point, or like a year or so ago. Don't really remember. So I do want this larger one of Alban to be like in the forefront, so I don't really want any of these background colors covering him. And then we could do the letters as well, probably do them in black. Our shadows, which I did not plan very well for also the 3 that I have here, because I think I lowered it too much. Oh, but the other thing I was debating, I was gonna do like a pink and blue spread. I don't know if I was gonna do it with water-based markers or if it was gonna be with alcohol markers, but something like 17 related, because the remaining members are gonna like enlist very soon. So technically, I guess it's only Joshua, S-Coops, June, and D8. I guess at that point, Jonghan's gonna be back like very soon. Heck, I think by the time you guys see this video, I think Jonghan is back. But they're gonna have to wait for the remaining members, because I think, how many of them are enlisting? We have Mingyu, Dogyam, Seungwan, Vernon, and Dino. So 5 members are enlisting pretty much like all at the same time. And then Wonu comes back like early next year. I think it's in January. And then Hoshi and Woozi will take a little bit as well. Should I put a drop shadow for Alban? I don't really want to do this loading bar either. The other kind of layout that I potentially wanted to do as well was like actual manga panels, which I think could have been fun to do. It just would have taken a little bit more planning prior. Because I was debating on whether or not I was going to do Alban for today or if I was going to do Selwyn. But if I can, it might be too small of a sketchbook spread for what I want to do if I do it with acrylic markers. I might have to see what medium works the best because maybe I have to do alcohol markers and a lot of inking and do black and white. But I think maybe it would be fun to do like Selwyn and then Lepus and Cetus as well. So as long as there's no like any major changes to these should be good to go in terms of like how I've kind of formatted them, I think. If you guys don't mind as well that I've been doing these types of spreads for now. So I did try matching a little bit of the font that's actually present in his sweater, but we're gonna have to improvise a little bit because I don't have the reference open and I don't want to follow it like super directly, otherwise I'm gonna get so frustrated. We're just gonna try our best here. I should have looked it up. What's the definition of like grunge? Because what kind of aesthetic is this? It's unfortunate me doing like these kind of sharper, thinner lines. We're gonna have to use the black and go around it. Maybe I should have done the black first. Probably not. We can also do like the touch-ups afterwards. Because some of these like scraggly little like brush tip kind of lines we can put back in afterwards because there's no way for me to go around with it in black and make it look as like raw, I guess, looking. Also, you can't tell. Maybe it's not as obvious in this one. Alban kind of has more of like a cat-like aesthetic, hence why there's gonna be like this text that says meow. Because this is actually the text that is on his sweater, but because I don't have any angles that actually show it, I wanted to place the text somewhere where it kind of is forward facing. So I did use a font from 1001fonts.com. So apologies if this part looks more like a backwards J rather than an L. It's just how the font kind of was. Because like, I just wanted more from it. I've ended up just rewatching it. So I've only gotten 2 episodes back in to like the first season, but I probably will continue that while I'm working on some other things. Because I literally love Natsume Yujin shows so much. It has like the perfect vibe of whenever I want to like chill. But it keeps me like, you know, captivated. But like I said, it's more my type of anime that I like to watch. So it might not be everyone's taste because I feel like people, or a lot of people do, prefer something more either flashy or like visually stimulating or something more like faster pace. So general blue and black, or blue and orange, we're gonna add our black. I really don't want to blend though. Oh well, we'll give it our best shot. Because I might just stagger it a little bit. It's gonna get muddy. Because I might use black to do our little separators in our loading bar. That will use white. I'm not too sure which I want to use. Should have did like closer to half and half, but you know it's okay. We're just not gonna have our loading bar like that. I should really get back into like writing down some of the moments that I like watching from like my Oshis but sometimes I forget when the moments are or like what quotes. So I used to like keep a notepad or a sticky note or something. Kind of like similarly to like what I was talking about, like the fact that because of Carrot Land for 17's like their fan meeting concert, there's like so many funny moments and cute like screenshots and all that stuff. So I might go through them. Was there a Carrot Land? There had to have been, right? A Carrot Land last year? So part of this might look crazy because this black is going to stand out so much. But I promise you, Alban has quite a bit of black in his outfit. So hopefully we can tie this in nicely. Maybe we can see after I add this one in. Because the whole composition might work better if I add black at the very top as well, because the Takaradachi is white and he's more or less in a white text box as well, so it might be not quite as balanced. We have like a black bar around this, which I might use like a thinner marker, I don't know. Other option, drop shadow inside the text box with black, and we can use a gel pen maybe, so that way I don't have to screw it up. Maybe we'll do that really quickly. So as usual, we are using the Languo ones. I think I saw you guys like, some of you guys have problems with using gel pens and having them like have good ink flow. I might link a video from, I believe I mentioned this as well, from Jet Pens that has them going through a bunch of different methods that you can use to get your pen working again. Some of them just need a little bit of like reviving, technically. Granted, like I haven't used any of their techniques for it, but they show basically them reviving each individual pens that they use the very specific methods for. Because I know some people talked about like adding a back of like an eraser or like a bit of kneaded eraser, whatever you want to call it, into the little tube portion that holds the ink reservoir. And apparently like closing that or plugging might help the ink flow a little bit better. I'm trying to think what other music I've been listening to. I've been kind of like all over the place, I feel like. Definitely been listening to, is it Us Again? It's like an unreleased song from 17 from, oof, how long ago has it been? Is it 2021? 2020-ish? 2021, maybe? That song makes me cry. And then having them sing it at Carrotland, where a lot of them is going to be pretty much their last performance until they get back from enlistment. Oh my lord. Makes me feel pretty sad. I feel like I usually default to doing the drop shadow, having the lighting come from like the top left, so the drop shadow goes to the bottom right. I don't know if my memory is just like very bad. The reason, like another reason I'm rewatching Natsume Yujinsho is that I don't remember Taki's story. This is dispensing also like a heck of a lot of ink right now. But the drop shadow for like these types of lettering I feel like is always very fun. It just makes everything pop a lot more. I mean, we could use, let's see, R15. It's more like a peach color. No cheeks, so I think we're good to go. Do Takaradachi have like the little plug tail? Some references I see it and some I don't. I feel like it does. I will then erase the sketch more so that we can have just a plain white. I think this is like a fun color palette. It's a little bit different from the other ones that I did, hopefully. Because I think it's kind of fun just to experiment with some other color palettes that I'm not as used to. And I know someone mentioned also me drawing, I think Sampo? Because he hits a lot of the boxes for like, I think, the colors that I wanted to use as well. I do Sampo. It's been a while since I've drawn him. Who else is purple? Dr. Ratio is purple. Uki's purple. Enna? I guess Enna could be fun to do. She has like a very fun new outfit as well. So I wanted to draw him a little bit more flustered. Because one reason I really love Alban, besides that, I think he's just like, he just seems very easy to listen to. Very sweet, but he's a little bit like Kusogaki sometimes. But he plays like a lot of horror games, or like, I feel like the type of games he plays is like very up my alley, what I like to watch. Because like, I think a lot of my Oshis played horror games, which I really like. And I don't know if have I talked about it? So like in Niji En, out of the livers, my Kami Oshi was Ike Eveland, which I think you guys probably knew that for a while because the amount of times I've drawn him, either for like traditional art sessions or like doodling or stuff in my sketchbook. I had like a lot of Ike Eveland at the time. But he graduated, and then I drew a lot of Pomu. So like out of the girls, I feel like she was my like #1 as well out of the girl livers. And then there was also Reimu Endo, who I still love a lot, but also graduated. But then out of all my Oshis, Alban's the only one who hasn't graduated right now. And I guess like Calyx too. I feel like I'm not like as big of an active watcher of Calyx as I would like to be. But I think it's because like I stepped back from watching livers in general. But that's kind of like a reason why I wanted to draw him a little bit more flustered, is because like as much as he likes to put on like a brave face, he is a little bit of a scaredy cat at times. I'm also thinking like I could draw Shu or Pio, Topio, for purple characters as well. They're a little patchy. I'm not too bummed about it, but maybe I have to do one extra pass. I feel like I'm also running out of paint in this marker, maybe. It's okay. We don't have too much like areas of exposed skin. I need to listen to the ending theme of the most recent Natsume Yujincho. I love this one so much. It's like Toshiki Kondo. I think like, what was it? When it first like got previewed, showing like the new season. I keep saying because I was late to finish it. But I was like waiting for the opening and the ending to drop because I loved it so much. So I think the other ones, oof, I don't remember who the artist is. I think it's called Alka. But yeah, I love those songs a lot, so I cannot wait for more Natsume eventually. I think we're using this for shadows because I've used it mostly, I think, for the other ones as well. Color his tongue, like the inside of his mouth the same color. We'll get something slightly darker to do like the actual back portion of his mouth. For the other areas, because I feel like once I add in the one for the skin, I usually keep it consistent, but then when I add in like the hair and all that other stuff, it kind of goes other ways. I think I watched Natsume during like my uni days, because I had a classmate, kind of like friend, acquaintance, who really liked anime as well, and she would always recommend Natsume Book of Friends, and I didn't know what it was for a long time. And I wish I started watching it when she was talking about it with me, and how much I enjoy it now. But we didn't really keep in touch after uni. I think there was like only one friend that I kept in touch with for a little while, but then we kind of, you know, let it fizzle out a little bit because we never really met back up in person. Like I moved back to the current city that I live in, and she moved back and then eventually moved to the US, from my understanding. Which I feel like she's like one of the kindest people ever. So I do miss her. Same with the other classmate that really like Natsume Yujincho. She was very like open-minded and very sweet. And because she's more like talkative than I was, she was the one that usually included me in things, or asked if I would like to be included type of vibe. Because I feel like she understood that I was very quiet. Also very thankful. Also, I didn't know if I wanted him to be like flustered or scared, so I might see if I want to add like blush lines to give him more of like that flustered look. Either flustered from being like scared and kind of like the confusion type of thing, or going the other way where it's like he's more blushing, because I think when he was unveiling this outfit, he had his birthday live stream as well. So he did like more of like a, anyone can come in, talk to him, give them like their birthday wishes, and they hop out of the call. And I believe Calyx wanted to see like Alban in this outfit and with more of like the cutesy, blushy, moe kind of look. And I think it's so cute. Also, Calyx is so goated for that. Okay, so what else? Eye color. So the only eyes that I have, oh, I guess I have this one. So Alban has kind of more of like a neon-y, yellowy green eye. And then he has like a gray eye. So he does have heterochromia. This eye is gray. I might use the gel pens to do this. We're gonna have to have some sort of shadow as well. So I do want to add a shadow. Scratch pad, which you guys saw me do like right on the black. But on this paper, it's not cleaning now. What is happening? Okay, there we go. I'm gonna look up. Wait, I think I have it on my computer. Let's move our references here because I need to see where the other silver areas for his outfit that I can include at this point. But the thing I wanted to check is whether or not these gel pens adhere better onto that paper because of the toothiness. Because for some reason on this paper, which is like a sheet of watercolor paper, alongside with the already laid down like acrylic marker, it had no problem activating, but sometimes on the smoother surface, and maybe it's because of the blue lead as well, that might be preventing it. It just doesn't roll on as nicely, so it has a little bit more of like skipping. But like I said, his eye is gray, so I technically could cover and color all of this. And I might use like a dark, well, we can use black for this eye, and then maybe a dark green for this one. The outfit a little bit here with the background, as well as like where I have his shirt supposed to be. I'm gonna have to cover it a little bit. So I'm gonna try to clean this up a little bit. So other areas that have orange, technically, wow. Orange for the background color is low-key not the best choice for part of this. So he does have like an orange stripe, and he does have text down here, which I might add after. But the other thing is that he has orange highlights at the back side of his hair, and I don't know if I want to go lighter or darker, because we could do lighter for some of these and then bank on our line art to hopefully make these stand out. This marker's so dry. Wait, I think it was this marker set. I think they come with like a baggie of like new tips for this. Let me check. Ah. I feel like it's not these ones. I don't know which brand has these ones. Nib replacement. Because this one has like little fine liners, which is kind of interesting. I feel like this wouldn't fit either, would it? Because I do like this color, so I feel like it would fit. Unless, is there another color that has similar vibe? Not really. I feel like these don't fit. These must be for like alcohol markers, maybe. Let's find a different marker. This one's like completely dry. This set. 60 color set. The problem with this set is that I don't know which box, because I have like a blue box and a pink box with the exact same, I think, name. Is it this one? This is the Arrtx one. This one just has numbers, so it's not that version. 48, 36, 60, red, blue, yellow box. Is this? Good thing I marked the difference. It's so funny. Alban's hair color I think is closest to this one. So see, I've talked about these markers before. They're not my favorite in terms of like acrylic markers. So I feel like they lay down nicely until they feel a little bit more dry on something more absorbent. So using it on like linen or canvas or something a little bit less porous, I feel like these work better. But for some reason this notebook paper makes this marker very dry, so sometimes I feel like this color is gonna be sucked dry quite quickly. Like, I don't know if you can tell, it's already feeling very dry, which is why I prefer the ones that have the pumping mechanism, because once it gets to this state, I know there's probably more like paint inside this marker, but it's either a little bit slower to reach the tip of it, so it gets a little bit more patchy and dry quicker. Actually, let me see. I have another set of SIMPTAP markers. I feel like this color's not in it. Lucky. Let's see if this one's just as dry. Because right now it's not looking too great. Not as dry. So that's at least promising. We'll just have to mix up the paint really well. So this color's slightly more yellowy, I think. smidge. It's a little bit more thin as well. Some other browns, if I can find some that would match a little bit better. Okay, this marker is nice and juicy, luckily, so should be okay. I have to do a few layers. As you can see, it's like kind of like oddly skipping. It's a little patchy too. Be scrubbing at the page too much because either I'm going to be lifting up paint or we're going to be lifting up the paper fibers, which is not the best. So it does have an eye patch that I'm trying to make sure I'm leaving a little bit more untouched because it is white. Where'd my reference go? Also, I love like a brush tip. Being able to get both like thick and thin lines is like a dream to have for like one marker. Because I'm kind of curious for like, I was gonna say, if you have to have like pick for a marker, do you guys prefer a bullet nib or do you prefer like the chisel tip alongside like with a brush tip? So brush tip plus like the other end would be either a chisel tip or the bullet nib. Maybe it's me. I feel like I prefer the chisel tip if I already have a brush pen for the other side. I don't know. Because if your brush tip is really well done, is there really a need for a bullet nib? Or is it because people prefer the consistency versus like having to use lighter pressure to get like a thinner look? But then you could argue the same thing that with the brush pen or the brush tip, maybe you don't want the chisel tip because if you press harder with the brush pen version, I guess, you can get much more of like a thicker application. I've used chisel tip much more than a bullet nib because I usually use it to fill larger areas quicker. We can add our dark orange in these places. This is supposed to be like orange, not brown, which is what I meant by oops. Because my problem is like two things. One, color on what I want to use for the outlines. Do I want to keep it soft? Do I want to go a little bit more bold? I think bold is probably the better choice considering how much black I think is going to be on this particular spread. But then we have also, do we want to do with the Languo pens, have a thicker application? Or fine liners or whichever. Okay, last one. Release this base hair color. So you can get as much black on the page as possible to hopefully even out all the bold elements here. I'm gonna try to activate it as much as I can. Because sometimes like the paint or ink or whichever you're using, sometimes it just clogs at the tip. And I think a lot of these have like a roller ball at the very end. And the way how it dispenses ink is the ball has to roll. So if it doesn't, I feel like it does get stuck and clogged. But that's also me just assuming. I actually don't know if all these gel pens have more of like that rollerball tip. I'm gonna put like a light green at the very top for a highlight. I usually like adding like a little bit of like a reflective light of something either contrasting to the eye or something else that's like present in the color palette. I lost the shape a smidge. I think he's looking cute. So before we add the white, to kind of like clean it up, I will erase the blue from it so that I'm not covering up and smudging the blue into with the white. I really love like Alban's outfits though. He's such fun ones. I don't like talking about someone who's not here anymore, I guess. And not in like a weird way where it's like they've perished. This is like a VTuber graduation, but like literally Ike's personality and like aesthetic was just very much something that was like the perfect mix of everything that I really like in a just like a streamer And then aesthetically, it was like very fun for me to draw. So it kind of sucks, but you know, it's okay. My hand immediately in wet paint. I have to look up. Let's see. Just gonna switch back and forth. I think he's looking cute. I just want to mess it up like too badly. But I think for the most part, like it's easier for me to not screw it up at this point. Minus like the line work. I feel like line work is always going to be the area that can ruin something so terribly. And juicy for the most part. And then we can add our detailings. We can add our details a little bit later. Also, because like I change my mic settings every so often, because like when I talk to my friends on Discord when we call, I'm usually a little bit like closer to the mic, I think. And because of that, I don't raise the gain or like the volume as high. But then when I'm doing these recordings, I don't remember if I changed the settings back to what it was, or like I don't remember what exactly it was. So if I sound like I'm mumbling, it's because I'm looking downwards and the mic is like up here. Also, another tangent. Pokopia, I think, well, I guess, yeah, when the video comes out this week for this video, I guess, the Jirachi event's already going to be underway. I'm so excited for it. I love anything like star aesthetic. It's so cute. And Jirachi is just like a cute Pokemon in general. I love it so much. I remember like, which movie is that? The one with Max, I think. And he like wants like a very particular wish, and then Jirachi grants it to him, and then, you know, regret. But Jirachi's such a cute Pokemon. Like, even I was debating on whether or not like, oh, Selwyn should have like a Jirachi, but like I don't really want to give my OCs legendaries per se, so I didn't do that. Even though like I said, it kind of fits his aesthetic quite nicely. I don't remember what a shiny Jirachi looks like. I'll look it up while I'm shaking this marker. The shiny one fits Selwyn even more. Like the orangey reddish color definitely fits Selwyn. But speaking about OCs, I'm so excited to do more art and draw Lepus and Cetus soon. So I want to flesh them out more and get used to drawing them, because like hopefully by the time I actually work on their sketch pages, which I like to use as their reference sheets, I will have a better idea how exactly I want to draw them, because there's definitely different things that I do when it comes to like making their reference sheets. I might pull out another black marker. Oh, this is a SIMPTAP one. Am I missing a marker? Thinner in terms of like ink consistency, but I love the brush tip on these like so much. So I'm leaving a little bit of like a gap. And I guess I'm just coloring all of this black. Like works with my process, because I don't really want to use like an extra brush. I feel like mixing directly with the actual markers or the pens together is like my usual go-to, because I don't really like blending with my fingers all too much. This might take a few passes, I think, maybe. I know it looks like solid, but the way that it's drying is not my favorite. It does have like a weirder, shinier sheen. I don't know why I added black there. It should have been orange. The inside of that chain, but we're just separating the back portion of his like near his back slash torso area, because I might use a dark gray, or maybe I'll use orange to do the line work so that we can separate these areas. I might just use gray. I know as literally as I was saying, oh, maybe I'll use orange, I'll use like a gray. because there's areas that need to be lighter by somehow mixing in a gray with the black. Maybe that makes the most sense. So maybe a dark gray so it doesn't stand out as much. Can you guys see the streakiness? I guess like this you can kind of see it. It's not like as bad. I feel like I didn't draw the rest of him. I stopped at the numbers. Which we'll outline a little bit later. Then we're gonna lose our 3 again. So I might outline the 3 in orange. Take our kneaded eraser. Hopefully I'm not gonna smudge anything important. We're just gonna erase some of the blue lines here from his face. It's a chunky pinky here. Man. I feel like usually I'm good at like dividing these into sections that I feel like are a little bit more appropriately sized. I need 2 lines? Is it 2 lines? 1. So let's see. Yeah, it's 2 lines, right? That's even enough, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we're good. So we need like a yellowy, it's kind of like almost between these two, like fluorescent colors. But I might just do green with yellow at the bottom. It works for like a few seconds and then dries out and then it revives itself. Just gonna add it to the top section. Okay, we're doing our chain with this lighter gray for now. Also realizing that I did this chain really weird. We only had the one shape. I didn't really add any of like the connecting shape. Oh well. It's another circle. He has so many like chains and necklaces. I just forgot. He has like these ones that look like almost like barbed wire. Oh, they're not like super spiky. They're kind of like twisted a little bit. Do 2 little oval shapes. I might use I was like, do we want to use orange or gray? I guess it'll be gray. So not only am I gonna outline separate the sleeve from where like the black is, we're gonna also try to drop in some highlights here to give a little bit more. I always feel like these sessions are so dang long, but I'm glad you guys don't mind that like I edited it down to be probably an hour. I also forgot his rings. And he has like a chain also coming from his 2 rings here too. I'm just gonna cut off right here so it's not too long. Kinda works? I guess so. I guess we're finishing the clothes first instead of the hair first, which is usually the first thing I finish, I feel like. And like I said, we're supposed to blend in the gray with the black, but I feel like I'm just gonna avoid it. I think I want to leave it more cell shaded like this. So I feel like this works better. And we can add our black to kind of fix our... So I guess this says cat on it. I'm trying to figure out where is like wet paint. Where is it not? Yeah, I think we're gonna use blue. Separate that. Do I have a blue that's close enough that's like gel pen adjacent? I don't think I do. They're like too dark or too light. Okay, hair. Adding a shadow color and then also adding highlights is like usually how I want to finish these pieces up. So even though like using black probably would have been like also a better choice here. If I wanted to actually keep it more limited color palette, but I kind of like the softer-ish look. So I'm also using the same brown. Color in his brows will be a little bit darker. So I'm not adding too much like actual shading per se. So I want to preserve more or less like his hair color. Then we can just like pull out our highlights to give it more definition for the most part. I think this Alban's very cute though. It doesn't really look like him per se. I feel like his hair shape is just a little off. Because I do have like sometimes a problem trying to even out like head shape or clothing or like the body, depending on like what I'm drawing, when it's like confined into a space and I didn't really plan out the entirety of like the sections, let's say like for the hair. Sometimes I don't like branch out of it, so like I feel like I'm condensing it into the space, which might give it like a stranger shape. We use black for like the rest of his clothing, but I think for all the hair and like his face and stuff, I feel like we can just do the brown. I feel like I like this Alban more. Because other than adding like actual strands, we can just like add a bit of indication of slight texture, but also like giving the form of the hair a little bit more of a boost. It's like I said, I feel like when it comes to doing the line art, sometimes is when it becomes hit or miss. Because I might... actually, I don't know. I know some of those areas I will have to. I'm just like, do I want to have the outline be black on the outside of Alban? Like that. We're gonna add black to do the contrast, but for now, let's add in our highlights, which I think I wanted to use the skin tone color so that I'm preventing myself from like introducing too many new colors into our color palette, because I'm already not irked per se. I'm a little bothered by the fact that this neon green color is in this color palette. It's like a bunch of different ways to do highlights, but doing like M's, N's, and W's I feel like are usually the go-to. I know this isn't gonna read as the same color, but like I said, I don't really want to introduce another color to throw off our color palette. Because typically I feel like I would use yellow. With how bright this peach color is, hopefully adding black will tie everything together, because I'm not liking how not as contrasted it is right now. But I might let this dry like a smidge. I think we're gonna work from like top to bottom, left to right, because I'm right-handed, so that we can avoid as many areas as we can. I am a little bit nervous because I know I want to add outlines to like the little boxes that they're in as well. And I don't think I'm going to use a ruler, because if you guys watch me do like any of my other sketch pages, the one I think specifically of Don Herring and Salwin, where I did like the grid patterning, well, I guess like with Masaki as well, every time like I shuffled the ruler to one side, some of the paint does seep under the ruler, so when I drag it, it kind of like smudges across. I don't have hand tremors, but sometimes the way that I grip the pencil or pen or inking material, or even like the beveling of the page, sometimes makes my hand shake. It's always silence when I do the line work. I don't know if I'll add like a line underneath where the mouth is, because I think that's what they look like. So I recommend having like a good viewpoint of where you're doing your line art. I feel like you should be able to see your stop and start point, especially if you're going like slow. Otherwise, you could easily like get off track and go like at a curve or an angle because you can't see where you're starting and stopping. 'Cause at least for me, I find it a little bit easier. I think overall it looks pretty cute though. I still wish there was more like black. Unless I want to like double up and make these borders like really dark. Well, that's also an option. Maybe I'll leave like this one very light. A good portion of this is dry. I do want to add more contrast to Alban. But like I said, I don't know if I was gonna go for doing an outline all the way around Alban and have like the inside be softer in color. I think we're just gonna not do that for this and just pick and choose where I want to darken everything. And then like I said, I think we're gonna add a darker outline around these boxes to be thicker. I feel like the sketch was so much cuter. This one turned out cuter than my sketch. This one I feel like got worse. At least I have the footage of it. Usually like if I'm doing a piece like this where it's full color and I like my sketch, I will take like a photo of it. So I forgot to add these like little things as if they're like whiskers. Okay, let's see if we can fix his face. So like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna add the dark outline around that one. Maybe I should. Would that help actually? Maybe. I guess I'll help break this out of the orange as well a little bit. Okay, last little box here. Yeah, I think that helped actually a heck of a lot. Because not only that, it pushes the blue back enough. So we're gonna add white text, the 100% and the loading. Wait, for some reason I can't visualize this. We put loading. Guess we'll do all capital, L-O-A-D-I-N-G. Halfway is D. So I guess we'll put D right here. Should have made it more square. My natural like writing style, or like my default writing I guess, is very round. Does that look right? This feels like a little redundant, but I feel like it helps this Alban stick out even more from the rest. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Unless I want to do white around the loading bar, which I'm very tempted to. A little loading bar. I think that works out to how exactly I want it. I'm gonna clean up and then we can go back and take a look at the whole thing again. Even though you guys have a pretty good view of it right now, I'm just gonna clean up so that it's less cluttered for me. Okay, I have now cleaned up pretty much everything that I needed to. I did add a few things. I did end up adding the line work to finish off the Takaradachi's tail, alongside with adding a little white label thing on top of their hat, but also adding a little bit of blush because one, the face felt empty because like I said, I think I elongated it a little bit compared to how like Alban's normal proportions are. Other than that, it's just like, you know, adding a little bit of blush in like cheeks or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I think that's it for this session, which always the end result of using like acrylic markers like this is always so fun. Yeah, this is kind of like what it looks like. You can see like the black is very shiny from that very specific marker that I was using. Some areas like where the orange is a little bit shiny too, but it's mostly like the black that has that sheen. I kind of wish it was a little bit more matte, but I don't see the sheen like too often typically when I'm viewing my own sketchbook at like, you know, a normal angle versus like looking at it like this completely all the time. But I think it turned out pretty cute for the most part. I do want to do more like VTuber fan art again, hopping back onto that, just because I always love like drawing their designs and I always have fun drawing my Oshis whenever I can. So hopefully I'll be drawing a little bit more of them. If you guys also like watching VTubers, do let me know who is your Oshi or Kami Oshi, and maybe I'll draw them in the future. So yeah, I think that's it for today. So from previous sessions, obviously one acrylic marker session right here. The halfway spread, I did end up drawing quite a bit because I was trying to figure out Lepus and Cetus's like design, which you guys have saw from like a previous video, probably last week. What else did we do? What else did we do? Danheng at some point, alongside with Kaisen, and I missed one in between, which is Alban. So, you know, playing around with different color palettes with the acrylic markers. They're all like fairly different-ish. But I really like kind of like this really stark kind of black contrast. I'm glad we ended up like darkening the outlines with the boxes alongside with adding a white outline around Alban in the middle, because I think it just helps everything pop in the right direction for each respective part. But for the last time, like I said, I think that's it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching me make this spread. I think there's other color palettes I would like to tackle in the future, but for now I think this is what we're gonna stick with. And I don't know if we're gonna do another acrylic marker session. I did mention that I want to do an alcohol marker session soon, so I'll probably do it on this spread and then do something here so that I don't have to worry about the bleed through, because even though this is like mostly covered, there's some like areas that would definitely show alcohol marker bleed through. But you know, acrylic markers I feel like does like a pretty good job of covering those up. That or using sticker paper, of course. That is all for today's session. Hopefully you guys enjoyed another longer one like this once again, and I kept it towards 1 hour-ish. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys next time in the next video. Bye!